Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I will be doing a recap of BMF Season 2, Episode 6. All right, so Big Terry is doing the narrative and he's talking about how Gats were never his and Meech's thing and that they needed to find Lamar before Lamar got to them. And the game it challenges every rule that they set for themselves, but sooner or later they have to break one of them. So that being said, Terry and Meech are riding around looking for Lamar, but they couldn't find him. And Meech said that they were going to set a trap for him so they could knock him off. All right, so Alvin is home from work and he could smell Lamar's funk as soon as he came inside of the house. Alvin told Lamar several times that he needed to open up a window. So Lamar was like, I'm just burping the bag just like you told me to. And Alvin said that he was spraying air freshener. He was telling him that he needs to do that outside because he stank. So Lamar felt like, they were like family. And then Alvin let him know that Meech and Terry are back in town with straps and they are sending a clear message. And Lamar was like, I could give a clear message. All right, so Terry trying to figure out how Lamar got to their mama when he had folks watching the house. And I'm like, exactly, Terry. I mean, somebody ain't doing their job, but I do remember Monique saying that Meech had people riding by her house. So I'm assuming maybe that's what was going on at Meech's house. Those boys, I mean, they be out there hustling. I don't think they be out there 24/7 watching the house. I think they trying to get money. But anyway, Meech, he still wants to murk Lamar. Roland was talking about how the crew is like divided and that Lamar has his ashy foot on the whole hood. So come to find out, Dink is doing his own thing. B Mickey is MIA like always. And Roland, he said that B Mickey has a new plug and is holding strong. So Meech was like, well, why he ain't say nothing? And Roland was like, I don't know. That's your boy. So Saki and Hoop, they come in and Meech told them that he had something that was going to change the game and double their profits. And of course, that made Saki ask like, well, how are we going to do that? And Meech was like, well, they said they wasn't going to tell them how they was going to do it, but they would bring a piece of action to whoever is down with them. And of course, Saki and Hoop, they like that. So Saki was like he had to go because he had to drop his son off at practice. All right, so Saki thought it was a good idea to pee outside when I'm sure they had a restroom inside of the building. Lamar, he snuck up on him and he shot him once before Saki could get the strap out. So Saki called him a hoe ass mofo, and Lamar said, "You right," and he shot him again. So I'm just wondering, y'all just gonna let Lamar pick y'all off one by one. Is anybody taking this dude seriously? So Hoop and others they run around back and Lamar is already gone. So Hoop is crying and he's saying that he was gonna murk Lamar on his mama. R.I.P. Saki. All right. So Terry was trying to figure out how they were going to rebuild with crazy Lamar running around. And I'm just wondering why Terry thinking about business right now when Saki is gone. But I guess Terry's like, you know what? He gone now. Ain't nothing we could do about it. So Detective Brian and Jen, they walk up on him. And he said that he heard that they were back in town. And they already given him cases. So Jen asked him if they saw anything. And Detective Brian answered the question saying, I know that ninja ain't see nothing. He was talking about Terry. And Terry was like, F you. So Detective Brian said he loved when people think that they're outsmarting him and then they get bit in the ass. So he pointed at Saki's body when he said that as well, that he had a three-piece. So Meech, he's upset and he was like, shouldn't you be trying to find out who did it? And Detective Brian said that he does plan to find out who did it and a lot more, which, he has Meech on his mind. So Meech and Detective Bryant, they have a stare down, and Meech walks off, and Detective Bryant laughs. He seemed like he really enjoyed that too. All right, so Meech and the others are leaving the crime scene. There's a guy named Calix who wanted to get Hoop's attention, and he reminded Hoop of what he told him, which is to holler at him. Hoop said it wasn't a good time, but he said he got him and that he needed a little bit more time. So now I'm wondering, why did they put this scene here? And also, who is Calix and what business does Hoop have with him? All right, so Lamar got out of the Jeep. He keeps riding around and the police saw him shooting Meech in the same Jeep, okay? Anyway, I'm just wondering what Lamar's doing there. I don't believe Alvin's house is right there. His house is like a red brick house. So I don't understand why he's there. Maybe that's where he keeps his Jeep. I don't know. So anyway, he heard a dog barking and he continued to walk over to the dog while it was barking. And Lamar told the dog that if he bites him, that he will bite him back. So Lamar, he discovered that someone had been hurting the dog, and he promised that no one else would do that again. Lamar, he named the dog Blackie, and he said that it was because the dog was black and beautiful, just like him. So the owner came out of the house with a chain in his hand, and he wanted Lamar to get away from his dog. It was obvious to Lamar that the owner wasn't taking good care of him, and the man called Lamar a boy, and he said that it wasn't his business, and he wanted him to give his dog back or else. So they fought, and Lamar ended up biting his ear off, and I am confused because the dog was already on a chain, so I don't know how Lamar needed to give him his dog back. But I'm not mad at Lamar for this one because the man called him a boy. And I'm really just surprised that he didn't cut his water off. All right, so Terry said after Saki, everybody gotta assume they have a target on their backs. And I'm like, really, Terry? Assume? Y'all should know this by now. I mean, how many more bodies does Lamar have to catch to get your attention? Just recently, we had Nito, Tiny, now Saki. So, um, Meech, he wanted to up the ante and bring on the PAs. And Hoop, he thought that the PAs were crazy. And Meech believed that the PAs could enforce and move a bag through their network. And they needed that. So Terry, he said he didn't know how they could get people they don't know to work with them. And Meech said that he planned to go to Soul Night because everybody would be there and then he'll make his play then. So since every party they go to in Detroit gets shot up, Terry knew he couldn't talk Meech out of going. So he wanted Meech to stay out of trouble and be safe. And my thoughts on this scene is that, I mean, I wonder why Terry didn't go with him. Did he need a fake ID or something? What was Hoop doing that night? I mean, y'all out here moving solo dolo is just stupid and dangerous, and y'all ain't moving cautiously. All right, so Detective Jen sees Detective Brian talking to Smitty in the evidence room, and Smitty hands Detective Brian a bag, and he left. So my thoughts on this is that Detective Jen gonna want some transparency, child, and you know she hates secrets. So B. Mickey is having a dream about his unborn child, who he refers to as Baby Mickey. He kissed Kato on the stomach, and he woke up from his dream when someone shot at him. Then he heard a knock at the door, and it's Meech. He let him in, and he asked when did he get back in town. Meech said that he got back in town last night. Meech heard that B. Mickey was holding and wanted to know what was up. The medical grade connect came back, but B. Mickey wasn't effing with it. So Meech asked what happened. B. Mickey didn't say anything. Meech, he then asked if it was about Kato. And Meech wanted B. Mickey to forget about Kato because she was a rat. B. Mickey let him know that his Kato is his baby mama. So Meech apologized, and he said the real reason why he came over there was to tell them that we locked in with Ty Washington and ATL. But B. Mickey, he felt the ways about it. He emphasized the word we, as in you and me, or T. Meech asked why he was harping over that, and B. Mickey is still mad, and he was mad because he was trying to hold it down while they were gone. And Meech didn't even call him or leave him a message. And Meech said that they had to leave town ASAP. And he said that he don't use phones. And ever since Saki got hit, everything has been going left. So Meech told B. Mickey that he was going to handle it. And he tried to give him a dap, but B. Mickey didn't dap him up back. So my thoughts on this, of course, the obvious is that B. Mickey is mad. And I do believe that he is jealous of his relationship with Terry. I think he honestly thought Terry was truly out of the game and he was going to be the number 2 man. All right, so LaWanda is knocking on Terry's door, but he did not hear her because he's asleep. She came into his room, went into his drawer, and got out a belt and she put it in her purse. Terry then woke up and she asked him, was he back in the game with Meech? Terry said that he knows that this information is hurtful. After everything they've been through, he understood if she wanted to leave him and he would still take care of her and the baby. So Luanda's like, well, while, we were gone, her and the baby, she had time to think and she doesn't want to be apart from her family ever again. So Luana then tells Terry that she loves him and she'll be there for him no matter what. Terry asked her, was she sure? She said that she was sure. And she also wanted to mark this occasion by them having a family photo together. And Terry agreed because that's what she wanted to do. She kissed him. And my take on this is Lawanda a place filler in case things don't work out with Markeisha? That he would have the option to go back to Lawanda so that they could be a family. I just feel like he's leading her on by not telling her that he doesn't want her and that he's interested in dating other people. It's kind of like he wants her to leave him so he don't have to break up with her. But either way, you're wrong. All right, so Detective Brian is picking up that Jen is ignoring him, and he said direct is the best way to communicate. So Jen, she asked him what was he talking to Smitty about, and he didn't want to tell her because it wasn't her business. And she said that she heard rumors that he was a dirty cop, and she wanted to know if it was true. So Jen, she said that she knows that he's hiding something and that it was bothering her. And she said if they were going to be partners, he needs to be 100% with her or she wouldn't be there for him when he needed her. So Brian, he decided to be honest with her and he told her that he took 2 bricks out of the evidence room to bust Meech with using his CI. So Jen, she was okay with that as long as what he said was true. So he told her that he'll keep her posted. So, I mean, I feel like Brian does have a level of respect for Jen, and Jen is not playing with him. All right, so Meech arrived at Soul Night dressed to impress, and he's chopping it up with someone named Tariq who plays professional sports. So Meech offered to buy him a drink, and as he's ordering a drink for himself and Tariq, he wanted to also buy one for Sterling and Shane, but they declined because they really wasn't feeling Meech. And Meech said, I saw y'all at K9's and I just wanted to say what's up. And Shane asked Meech who was he. And Sterling was basically telling Shane to chill out and that Shane is really down for his homies. I'm thinking Shane may be a wild boy. But anyway, the PAs, they got into it with 6 Mile and Sterling threw the first punch and then everybody started fighting. So Meech, never missing an opportunity to miss an opportunity, he jumped into the fight as well. So I don't know if anybody ever paid attention, but Meech's favorite fighting move is stumping somebody out. But anyway, Meech, Shane, and Sterling, they got kicked out of the party. Meech wanted to make sure they were good. And then Sterling, now he's interested in knowing who Meech is. And of course, Meech told him his name and that he was from Southwest. So Sterling wanted to do a meet and greet with him, but he just didn't want to do it in front of the building because he thought somebody from 6 Mile might come and shoot at him. All right, so Terry's in the kitchen cutting his dad's hair, and Lucille's complaining about the hair being in her kitchen. So Charles, he's annoyed by her nagging about it, but he promised that Terry would clean it up. Then there's a knock at the door. Lucille goes over to the door to answer it. Apparently, she didn't learn her lesson from the last time because she didn't look out the door or the window before she opened it. But anyway, it's Mr. Ryan. He stopped by the house so that he could set up an afternoon appointment with Terry so he could catch him up on his schoolwork. But Terry said that that wasn't necessary because he wasn't going back to school. And Lucille, she expressed how important it was to her that he graduates. And Terry said that you don't have to go to school to get a high school diploma in order to be successful. And he gave some examples. Charles pointed out that everybody that he named were white. And he said that he went through a lot of struggles because he did not have enough education and he did not want that for his son. Terry said that he'd been thinking about this for a very long time and he doesn't plan to return to school, and it's nothing that no one can say to change his mind. So Mr. Ryan said that if you change your mind, then he would be able to help him. And he left. So Lucille, she walks behind Terry and asking him, was he following in Meech's steps to become a drug dealer? And Terry let her know that they are businessmen and one day they're going to run a legitimate business. So Charles said that they're going to end up in jail or dead. And Terry, he said that he wasn't interested in the plans that that his parents have for him about graduating school. He wasn't enjoying school anymore. And Lucille, she didn't want Terry to regret the decision that he was making. So Terry, he wanted his parents to do him a favor and to wish him luck. So Lucille, you got what you wanted. He's no longer hiding from you. He's showing you exactly who he is. So you just gotta respect it. And also, your mom told you that you're that you chose the path for your life and Meech did, and now you're seeing that Terry's also doing the same thing. All right, so Meech arrived at Monique's house. He gave her money for the kids and for helping him with the Denise situation. Meech asked her if she's seen Lamar, and she said that Lamar's messed up and he can't get it up. She also said that if he wanted to pop Lamar, he has to do it in a way that Lamar's not expecting because he's a real street dude. All right, so Lamar has a soft spot for the dog who seems to be hurting, and he's giving him words of comfort. Alvin asked what was going on, and Lamar introduced Alvin to his new dog, Blackie. Alvin wanted to know if he ate both of his hungry man meals, and Lamar ate one, and the dog ate the other. Alvin asked why would he give human food to a mutt, and Lamar told him to watch his mouth because the dog could hear him. Alvin, he didn't care about the dog hearing him. So Lamar got up out of his chair and he demanded that Alvin apologize to the dog or he would beat him up and feed it to him. So Alvin apologized to the dog. So my thoughts on this is that it was all good when Alvin was helping Lamar punk other people. And now he's afraid in his own home. Alvin may have realized that he too could also get that work from Lamar, and he will probably be more careful what he says and does around Lamar. I mean, Lamar obviously forgot about Alvin being there for him, like helping him, letting him stay at his house. I'm assuming that Jeep belongs to Alvin. I'm not sure. He helped him change his colostomy bag. He helped him when he got shot by Nito and Tiny, and he also rescued him from the hospital. So I think Meech might have an in with Alvin. Alvin just might be the person that may be unexpected by Lamar. So Alvin can definitely be beneficial to Meech to take Lamar out. All right. So Charles noticed that Lucille was down about Terry dropping out of school, and he wanted to reassure her that she was not alone because they would handle this situation just like they did everything else, and that is together. So Lucille said that she wasn't going to cry over spilled milk anymore because they have made their decision. So Charles decided that he wanted to go out, and Lucille said that she didn't feel like it. So he said that he was going to get dressed and he wanted her on his arms. So she over there giggling and whatnot. And so she said that she was go ahead and get dressed. So as she's getting up, he's slapping her all on the booty. So I'm just wondering, is Charles happy to have sex again? Or is it the new Tussie Cat in addition to the in-house Tussie Cat that's giving him a little pep in his step? So Terry knew by looking at Meech's hand that he got into some trouble at Soul Night. Meech let him know that he had to help the PAs and they agreed to unalive Lamar and move the bag. Terry then asked about B. Mickey. B. Mickey, he should be getting the medical grade ish from the plug soon, and Meech planned to check it out, and that will put him back on top. So Terry let Meech know that Nicole had a job, and Meech, he didn't understand why she wanted a job because they had money. And he said that Nicole wanted her own money, so she been sweeping at the salon on Jefferson while they were gone. And I'm thinking like, how many days were y'all gone? But anyway, Meech said beauty shop, so I'm assuming that he has some type of idea of what he wants to do at the beauty shop, business wise. Meech is getting his nails done at the shop, and Hoop is watching him. And Meech is telling Nicole that he likes that she's working and being responsible. So Nicole, being annoyed, she tells him thanks and get out. So the owner then comes into the shop, and Meech wanted to have a private conversation with her. Come to find out, she's owned the shop for about a year now, and Meech saw this as an opportunity for her to increase her revenue. She asked what would she be doing, And Mitch said just handling some business for him. And he handed her some money and he said that he would explain it later. So Nicole sees him leaving the shop. She's annoyed because she knows that her brother is up to no good. All right, so Terry is headed towards his car in the rain. I really thought for some reason Lamar was going to sneak up on him. I don't know why these dudes insist on moving like their lives are not in danger. But anyway, Detective Jen and Bryant, they're following Terry. And come to find out, Boom put Markeisha and the kids out in the rain and she needed a ride, preferably to his house. Terry suggested a hotel would be better. My thoughts on this is that Boom is a cold piece. I mean, he could have at least let the kids stay at the house with him or give her keys to her car since she had the kids with her. Just trifling. All right, so we learned that Boom kicked Markeisha and the kids out of the house because he accused her of spending his money. Again, his money. So I guess he don't even give her any money. But anyway, Markeisha, she does have her own job, which means that she makes her own money. Markeisha went on to tell Terry that she wanted a house with a big yard for the kids and a clothing and spending budget. And I'm thinking you don't already have that with Boom. I know he should be making some kind of money. But anyway, we learned that Markeisha's first language is Spanish. Her dad is black. Her mom is Puerto Rican. And Terry wanted to make all of her dreams come true. So Terry told her that he was getting ready to leave, but he'll be back. So I'm just wondering if Markeisha is playing some type of games with Terry. I can see that Terry has on his Captain Save-A-Ho cape. And I'm just wondering why she wanted to go to Terry's house instead of her parents, friends, or family members' house. All right, so Charles finally got an opportunity to take Lucille out to a nice restaurant as he promised earlier in the season. And Lucille let him know that she thought that he was having an affair with Sister Riley, and she confronted her after the revival. Charles's facial expression showed that he was shocked, and I think he was low-key enjoying it. He asked her where did she get that idea from, and she said the dirty magazines had her feeling insecure. So Lucille, she then tells Charles that she knows that he's a good man and a faithful husband who only wants the best for his family. And Charles, you should be feeling real guilty right now and crappy as well. But anyway, he told her some BS about being proud of her, and he apologized for not giving her her heart's desire. And I'm thinking, that's it, Charles? That's what you're apologizing for? So anyway, Lucille, she doesn't normally drink and she has a migraine. And Charles said that he has something for the migraine if the aspirin don't work. And Lucille said when it goes off, he could get on. Charles was like, check please. All right, my thoughts on this scene is that Charles is trifling and that he should have felt really bad about her calling him a good and faithful husband when that is no longer the case anymore, but instead he offered his dirty, polluted dick. I was low key wondering at first if Charles was going to say, I'm not cheating with Sister Riley, I'm cheating with Mabel. But that's too much like right? So I don't know why Lucille didn't have any other women on her radar. Just Sister Riley, which made her feel so good and so secure again that she actually decided to start giving her man some again. Terrible mistake. Anyway, it was totally disgusting that Charles was assuring Lucille that he wasn't cheating with her. I wish he didn't even lie to her. I wish he would have steered the conversation elsewhere to avoid lying if he wasn't trying to make a confession. Lucille, she's definitely going to remember this day with him trying to assure her that he's a good man and not cheating on her. She's going to bring this back up to him for sure. And Charles, don't bring Mabel around your wife no more. Don't have that bitch at the table eating up y'all good food. Terry brought food, drinks, and a Sega Genesis to the hotel, which impressed Markeisha. She told him that the kids were taking a bath, and she thought this was a good time to do the nasty. So Detective Brian and Jen, they're watching them through the camera, and Detective Brian said, ain't nothing like a little palate cleanser to get it started. And they both started laughing. Jen, she wanted Brian to look through the camera. And Terry is in
Put my face in it like a dinner date.
there munching down at this point.
This girl's ass out like it's puppet child.
And Bryant was like, damn, ain't somebody hungry? And Jan said that she was hungry. And Brian, he immediately stopped looking at Terry and Markeisha, and he fixed his eyes on Jen. And he asked her how long it's been. And she said it feel like it's been forever. So Brian offered to drop some dick off in him. And Jen asked, what made you feel that you could handle all of this? And Brian was like, the fun is in finding out. And then they stared at each other. Now, I don't know why, but I thought Jen was gay, child. I, re- I remember someone on YouTube had a theory that Jen and Brian would have relations, but I didn't see this coming. All right, so Terry's playing the game with the kids, and Markeisha cut the game off and told the kids to go to bed. She then used this as an opportunity to question Terry. She asked him if he had someone staying with him, and was that the reason why she couldn't come to his place. And he said that he had his ex and his son. And of course, she asked how old the child was, and the child is 1 and 2 months. And Markeisha asked if he loved his baby mama. And he said that he didn't know. And then he asked her if she loved Boom. And I don't think she gave him a response. So then Terry said his relationship with his baby mama is pretty much done. Only thing he's doing is providing for his child. So Markeisha, she then wanted him to leave because she didn't want to have strange men around her kids because it's not easy to explain that to them. So Terry respected her wishes and he tried to give her a hug, but Markeisha hit him with a handshake. Boy, do I have a problem with this scene. I mean, I can understand why she asked him if he was in a relationship and had someone living with him. That makes sense. But I don't understand how she's judging him for having a situation when she's married. Terry lied about LaWanda and Terry Jr. living with him. He didn't tell her that he lived with his parents. This makes me think, does Markeisha know how old Terry is? Did he lie so that she wouldn't know that she was dealing with someone who's a minor? Part of me thinks that she wants Terry to be committed to her while she still remains married. I had to go back and do some research after saying what I just said. I think Markeisha is playing games. I think she knows exactly what she's doing, especially knowing that he is an actual teenager. And here goes the clip.
Will my premium go up if I add a third driver?
Let me find out. How much would his premium go if he added a third? So we recommend hiring someone with a clean record who isn't considered high risk, as in a teenager like yourself.
Or she just could have been drunk and forgot. Now back to my thoughts. Um, and she was fussing about her kids being around Terry, and I'm thinking you were getting ate out while they were taking a bath, bruh, and letting the guy play games with him, and now you all of a sudden worried about your kids being introduced to a strange man. That is so weird. But I do wonder if her kids will tell their daddy that that she had them around Terry. So Monique just got out of aerobics class, and Lamar is in the parking lot waiting on her so that she could meet his dog. And Lamar asked her a weird question like, was she jealous of the dog? That was weird. But anyway, Monique noticed the scratches on the dog, and come to find out, the owner of the dog had the dog fighting in a pit, and Lamar saved him. So he considers that dog to be an underdog, just like he is. Lamar told Monique that the dog's name is Blackie, and by this time, he's barking aggressively at her. And Monique said that he was a monster, and she believed that he was trained to smother and he knew nothing but violence. Of course, Lamar doesn't agree with that, but we do learn a fact about Lamar, and that he grew up in foster care and they moved him around to keep him from forming attachments. Lamar plans to take the dog and teach him things, and Monique said that she understood what he's been through, but caring for a beaten dog was not going to change the past. And Lamar, he said he knew that, and he just wanted her to meet the dog. All right, so Terry and Sterling are happy doing business together. Meech pulled up in his new whip, and everybody liked the car. And Meech said everybody's about to be doing the same thing he's doing. And just my take on this is that Meech can be selfish with some of his decisions, but he definitely likes to make sure everybody around him money is right. I believe he started this season in a Benz, and now he has a Lexus. Uh, Back to the story. Terry feels slighted that Meech bought another car and they owe Boom. But Meech let it be known, I don't owe Boom, you do. So Meech, he's still mad at Terry because Terry went behind his back and went to Boom to do business with him. And then on top of that, he's sleeping with his wife. So Meech was like, you deserve any consequences that come behind that. I wonder when Terry told Meech that he was sleeping with Markeisha. They never did show that part, but I sure like to have known that. So Hoop walked over to the group, letting them know that they had a problem. But right before he was able to do that, Dink pulled up mad, wanting Terry to give him his money back for some bogus birds that Terry sold to him. Terry said he didn't sell him anything. And from the look on Terry's face, he didn't have a clue what Dink was talking about. So Dink asked Terry if he was too big to do grunt work and had Hoop to sell it to him. And Terry, he's still confused. So Dink went on to say that the weight was right when they measured it. Then it was short when it dried up. So Dink's customers have a low high and their buzz was slow, etc. And Terry said that's just the cost of doing business, and he wanted Dink to get out of his face. So Dink said, not when you're the brand. He just wanted his money back. And Terry, he took off his shades and he got in Dink's face and he said, or what? And he pushed him. So Dink swung on Terry and he was handling him until Meech jumped in and then they jumped him. But Dink, he ain't scared, honey. He may be little, but he gets busy. All right, this is my take on this particular portion of the scene. Terry got to get out of people's face thinking that they're not going to do nothing, and because he can't fight. As it pertains to the Boone situation, Meech talked earlier about Terry taking whatever consequences comes his way, but as we can see, he's not going to let anybody hurt Terry. As for the Dink situation, since Terry doesn't know what Dink is talking about, what side business does Hoop have going on, and how many other people has he sold this product to? Hoop is walking towards the fight, and Sterling pulled a gat out on him, and Hoop wanted everybody to stop because they are a family. Terry said that Dink turned his back on the family, so F him. And Terry, he kept kicking Dink and told him not to come at him like that no more. So my take on this is that since Dink is doing his own thing, I wonder if he'll attempt to retaliate or let it ride. Okay, so Mabel opened up the door for Charles and she led him into the den and he followed her there. And he wanted to apologize to her for coming over there, but he no longer can have sexual relations with her because he wanted to work things out with his wife. Now I'm thinking Charles, he's staring at her titties the whole time in that silk robe while talking to her, and it doesn't really sound like he's convinced that's something that he really wanted to do. I think he thought it was a good idea when he was with his wife at the restaurant, but I think he's kind of have a change of heart. He really likes Mabel. He likes sleeping with her. He likes the way she makes him feel. Um, Mabel was like, if that's something that you really want to do. And Charles was trying to get ready to leave out of the door. And then Mabel, she put her Jezebel hands and naked body on his back. And Charles was weak in the knees and he no longer could use his feet. Wanna be with you, wanna be real with you, I can't leave you alone. No. This dude is moaning and his lips are quivering and he turned around and he kissed her. I'm just like, Charles, you are so weak. You have absolutely no self-control. But you know what though? Chris Rock always said nothing better than P-U-S-S-Y than new P-U-S-S-Y. So Charles, he gave Mabel about 21 polluted pumps in front of the religious figurine. Now I'm telling Lucille what Desiree told LaWanda. You know what to do.
What did the five fingers say to the face? Slap!
All right, so Nicole is happy to be at work until she saw Meech and Hoop leaving the back of the salon, headed out of the door. So immediately, Nicole went to the salon owner to ask what was the money for, and the lady said to pay for his service. And she asked what kind of service requires a bag of money. And the lady said that she was tripping and that they're all grown. And of course, this made Nicole mad. All right. So Meech wanted to know if Hoop would have an issue with him regarding Dink. Hoop considers BMF family, and with Saki gone and issues with Dink, he felt like things are falling apart. Meech gave him a question, and he asked him if Dink folded at the first sign of trouble, is that the makings of somebody that loved them and that's family? And Hoop said no. So Meech wanted Hoop to stick with him because he wouldn't let him down, and he let him drive his whip. All right. So Terry arrived back at the hotel. Little to his surprise, Markeisha and the kids are gone, but she did leave him a note. It said, I'm grateful for your help, but you're in no position to provide for us when you have obligations of your own. Boom may be bad, but I need financial security. So basically, Markeisha is going where the money is. She's trying to get on that traveling and spending budget again. And I can see it now. Terry's about to look for a place of his own. All right, so Jen and Brian are still at the hotel watching Terry read the note from Markeisha. I honestly think that Jen was the only one that spent the night at the hotel because she had a bag in her hand. I think Brian stayed at home with Kevin. But I do wonder why she stayed in the hotel room even though they're supposed to be following Terry. That was a little weird. But anyway, Jen suspects that Terry's having relationship problems and she wants to use that against him with his baby mama by informing her that he's cheating on her with Markeisha. Brian, he liked that idea. Then he got a page and he needed to leave. So Jen asked who it was and he lied and said that it was Kevin. And then Jen asked him for a ride home. All right. So Meech is back at K9 spot. Come to find out, Sterling told him that there's a bid on Lamar, and Meech wanted him to tell him when it was done. So he sees K9, he daps him up, and he said that he's ready to cop up front or re-up or whatever he got to do. And K9, he was happy to hear that. Then Raisin, he interrupted them saying that he had a call for K9 and that he needed to speak with him. So Meech walked off just to give him some privacy. Raisin was warning K9 to take it easy. K9 wanted to tell Raisin to translate to Cena with his ungrateful ass that he ain't paying him, and if he want the money, he better come get it in blood. Raisin was like, I don't think that's wise. And K9 said he didn't care what he thought, and he wanted him to deliver the message to him. And then someone needed K9's attention elsewhere, so he stepped away. So Raisin decided to tell Cena that K9 couldn't talk right now. And I'm wondering if K9 would be mad at Raisin for not telling Cena what he really said. K9's motto is, if a ninja violates, it's your job to demonstrate. Why is K9 not taking his own advice? K9 claimed he made more money upselling and withholding than he did flooding the streets. So can he really be broke? Or does he owe somebody else money? So Meech never misses an opportunity to miss an opportunity. He asked Raisin what was going on. Raisin let him know that K9 owes the Colombian Connect $20 million and he refuses to pay. And my thought on that is that I wonder will we ever find out why K9 was mad at Cena? That's what we saw with the first episode, I think. Anyway, Meech was wondering what was wrong with K9. And Raisin didn't know what was going on with him, but he knew that it wasn't going to end well for him. So K9 came back and he told Meech that something came up, so he couldn't do a re-up, but he'll let him know and it wouldn't be that long. So Meech said it was all good. So Detective Brian said it was too late for B. Mickey to change his mind about the meet with Meech. And B. Mickey, he said that he has history with Meech, but he's done living in the past and he wants to look forward to what's next. Then somebody knocks at the door. B. Mickey wasn't expecting anybody, and to our surprise, it's Detective Jen, who followed him over there. And she said that B. Mickey didn't look like Kevin to her. So Detective Brian, he introduced B. Mickey, or he called him Brian Mickey, to Detective Jen as his CI. B. Mickey started fussing at Detective Bryant about having randos come into his house unannounced. Detective Bryant let Jen know that B. Mickey was getting ready for the meet to set up Meech. B. Mickey is now starting to have second thoughts about going through with the meet. Jen said that she wasn't trying to blow up his spot, but she just wanted to make sure that B. Mickey was comfortable. And I'm thinking, Detective Jen, you are a lie, for one. You're just checking behind Detective Bryant because you think that he's a dirty cop and you want to see what he was doing. I got you, girl. Detective Bryant told B. Mickey to keep his phone and pager on, and then they left. So my thought is Mickey B. Ratton is definitely torn about snitching on Meech. I do believe he loves Meech. I just think that he's really hurt and mad at him. I think he's planning to leave town, perhaps to get away from Detective Bryant and to start over since he's getting nowhere with Meech far as status. Also, if he does leave town, will his mom have to go back to the terrible facility that she was transferred from? Because, Detective Bryant pulled the strings to get her there. And of course, those strings are there because he was snitching. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. Anywho, I assume B. Mickey is the only child who takes care of his mom, unless he has another sibling that was locked up or something else. Maybe away. Don't live in town. All right, so Meech is ready to level up and go behind K9's back to get his plug. Terry believes this is dangerous and it could get them unalive. Meech, he's tired of depending on someone else's plug and he's ready to lock down a plug for himself. Meech doesn't think that K9 wants the Colombian plug anymore and he's not effing with them. So Terry, he's having doubts about Meech's plan and he's asking him about B. Mickey's plug. And B. Mickey, he reached out to Meech last night and he plans to give him a few keys to check out and that may hold them over to K9 hollers back at him. Terry believes that this is a better idea than going behind K9's back and stealing his plug. All right, so LaWanda is dressing Terry Jr. and Big Terry, he's looking for his other belt. And I'm thinking, what you doing with that belt, LaWanda? So anyway, LaWanda was like, you don't need it. And I'm thinking, why he don't need it? Because you need it? But anyway, Terry, he didn't want his pants sagging and he said it was a waste of time. LaWanda didn't think that their family photos were a waste of time. Terry said he was trying to be cordial, but he didn't have time to play the dress-up game. And she was like, cordial? LaWanda asked Terry if he thought that she was forcing him to take pictures. And Terry, I guess he just figured that this was something that was going to start an argument and he didn't want to go there. So LaWanda was like, I want you to go because you want to go and because you're proud of your family. And Terry's, he said that he's proud of his family and he put on his jacket and he told her, let's go. He didn't really have a whole lot of emotion, just seemed like he was annoyed. And I think at this particular time, you need to go ahead and just wrap this relationship up, Terry. Let her know it's over. All right, so Lamar is leaving out of the store, and shortly after, two guys are leaving out of the store as well. Blackie is now barking in the car, and the guys have their gats drawn, and Lamar end up shooting one of them. The second guy, he's looking around for Lamar, and he noticed that Lamar isn't in the car, but the dog is. The man told Blackie to shut up, and he called him a mutt. Now, you done messed up calling Blackie a mutt. Don't nobody call Blackie a mutt, all right? So anyway, Lamar, he shot him in the leg, and then the guy fell to the ground, and Lamar asked him if he was sent by Meech, and the guy said, F you, and Lamar knew it was Meech, and he shot him. I'm just wondering how Lamar is outsmarting everybody. Why is everybody dumb and he's the only one that's smart enough to stay alive? I don't get it. I mean, was it a giveaway that he's never seen those guys around there before and he figured he had a price on his head, so he was just on attack mode? I mean, honestly, nobody seems to be on alert. Lamar is the only one that knows that somebody may be out here trying to get him. Everybody else, they just living life. Oh my God, it's just stupid to me. Anyway, Lamar, he's just getting on my nerves at this point. He's very annoying. I don't like this invincible thing that they got going on with him. Like somebody need to touch him, and it's getting to the point where they may have to dress Mabel up as Black Diamond so she can go ahead and take out Lamar. I'm over it. All right, so Terry arrives at LaWanda's house, and her mom is there, Desiree, who asks them about the photo shoot. Terry said that it was nice, and he called LaWanda baby. Here you go with that baby stuff. Stop calling that girl baby. Anyway, he changed his jacket, he kissed her and the baby, and he left. Desiree, she picked up on a vibe and knew that there was trouble in paradise. LaWanda said Terry's just in a funky mood, and Desiree, she noticed he's always in a funky mood when he comes around, and she ain't raised her to be a fool. So Desiree, she asked if she was sure that Terry wanted her. LaWanda, she didn't say this with confidence, but she said sometimes. Desiree wanted to know what her heart was saying, and LaWanda, she didn't know. So Desiree told her she knows what to do. What does that mean, Desiree? I tell you what, LaWanda got to stop listening to these mamas, honey. They leading her wrong. Anyway, LaWanda had Terry's belongings in a bag, which is a brush, some socks, a belt, a jacket, and a chain. I'm trying to figure out why Terry don't know where his chain is. I guess. Anyway, so LaWanda said that we got everything we need. And Desiree said, that's what I'm talking about. Girl. All right, next scene. The detectives are outside of Wolf Records listening in on the meet between B. Mickey and Meech. Meech noticed right off the bat that B. Mickey had on a hat and he never wears one. And B. Mickey was like, I always wear a hat. And Meech, he looked at him and he looked at him again. But he looked like it was something off about it, but he went along with it. So B. Mickey showed him the product, and Meech gave him some paperwork on about some burial plots for his mom, B. Mickey's mom, as well as Kato. And he said that B. Mickey can have one too if he wanted one, so that he and Kato could be together forever. B. Mickey thought that this was strange, but Meech just wanted to show him that he appreciated him. Since Meech has expanded again, B. Mickey is now able to run his own territory and be his own boss. Meech said, I'm making you a king. And he gave him a hug and he told him that he loved him for life and he appreciated him for everything he's done for him and his brother. Meech said that since he has been down with him since day one, it was only right that he makes it right. B. Mickey over there looking real bad after hearing Meech tell him that, and he started crying a little bit, and then he started reminiscing on old times. B. Mickey took off his hat, and he showed that he had a wire in there, and he pointed at the door to show Meech that the police was outside. And of course, Meech looked at the door. He looked at B. Mickey, and he was you could tell he was upset, but he played it cool. He kind of went back to the reminiscing conversation a little bit, and then of course Meech being Meech, he doesn't miss an opportunity to miss an opportunity, so he took the drugs with him and left out the back door. Mitch, one thing about Meech, he gonna risk it all trying to turn those two birds into four. B. Mickey decided to head out the back door too. All Jen heard was loud music, and Detective Brian felt that something wasn't right, so they decided to head inside of the store. B. Mickey and Meech are gone now, and all he found was B. Mickey's hat on the floor. So Detective heard some noises while they were in there, so they followed the sound. B. Mickey took this as an opportunity to say he was sorry and that he didn't have a choice. And Meech said, you always got a choice. And he said, F him. So they both ran away before the detectives came outside. And Detective Bryant was pissed because they left with the drugs. And my thoughts on this scene is that, B. Mickey, of course, he should have told Meech a long time ago. I mean, they could have worked something out, maybe. Maybe. Of course, he's feeling like a Judas at this particular time because Meech really thought that his cousin James was a Judas, but he didn't know, B. Mickey was doing the same thing. So I'm sure that hurt him too. But anyway, I do believe that he's done with B. Mickey, and he'll never be able to trust him or consider him a brother or family at that. So, far as Detective Brian, I don't think that he's gonna let it ride that B. Mickey didn't snitch and he took off with the product. All right. So B. Mickey went to go see his mom at a care facility to tell her that he was leaving town and he left money with a nurse and that he would see her when he returned. He kissed her and then he left. All right. So B. Mickey is leaving out of the care facility and he's going towards his car. He's trying to light up, but the lighter isn't working. So somebody came up behind him and snatched him. And it sounded like they put him in the trunk of a car is what it sounded like. But there was a narrative from Big Terry that said, when you're in the game, sometimes you have to break the heart of the people who love you. So I'm just trying to figure out um, who that would be, and I'm assuming that's the person who snatched him up. The only person that really seems like that could fit that statement would be Meech. Anyway, my thoughts on this is once again, people in on this show, they do not move with urgency other than Lamar. Um, and I'm trying to figure out, was it really that important that he light up at that moment? Why didn't he go see his mom before he set up the meet with Meech? I mean, Detective Bryant is always catching B. Mickey visiting his mom, so he may very well be, the only one that knows where B. Mickey mom is. But on the other hand, he also could have been followed. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it useful in some way. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons and turn on your notification for future uploads. Until the next video, see you when I see you.